I'm going to show you how to make this Easter cookie pie. It is packed full of Nutella and Easter chocolate. What is not to love? If you want to see how I make this, keep watching. So a little bit of prep before we start. I have greased and lined an 8-inch tin here, which is loose bottom base. And I'm also going to preheat my oven to 160 degrees. That's for a fan assisted oven. So now it's time to make the cookie dough. This is my normal cookie dough recipe, which I have doubled because we are going to use a lot of cookie dough. I have some butter first. Pop that in. In here, I've got light brown sugar and I've got caster sugar as well. So pop that in too. So we're going to pop this on the mixer until it is creamed together. You don't need to cream it together as much as a cake, for example, literally just for a minute or so until it is nice and fluffy. Then we are going to add in our eggs, and I've got some vanilla extract in here too. And then we're going to mix this on a medium speed until it's all come together. Then I'm going to grab my spatula, remove the bowl, and just make sure you've got everything from the sides and the bottom before we add in our flour. And as I always say, if your mixture is split, like mine has just started to split, don't panic. It will resolve itself as soon as you add the flour in. So now we are going to add our flour. I've got plain flour here with some salt in as well. And we're going to mix that really slowly until it comes together again. And then we can add in our chocolate chips. And here is our cookie dough. So I'm going to remove the paddle, grab my spatula and start removing all of your cookie dough from the paddle. So now we're going to add in our chocolate chips. I have got dark chocolate, white chocolate and milk chocolate here. These are chocolate bars that I've just chopped into chunks, but you can use chocolate chips. You can use whatever flavour you want to as well. So we'll pour all of those in. I prefer to mix them in by hand, just because the stand mixers or electric mixers struggle a little bit with chocolate chips. So I'm going to mix this in by hand, trying to mix it in as thoroughly as I can. There we go, made a mess as I did it, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't. So that is our cookie dough ready. So now it is time to make our actual cookie dough pie. Essentially, we're going to split it into 2/3 and 1/3. So 2/3 is going to be the base and the sides, and 1/3 is going to create the top. And then in the middle is going to be all of our chocolate goodies and Nutella spread as well. So I'm going to put a few dollops of the cookie dough into the base of the tin. Now I tend to go between using a spoon and using my hands. I tend to use my hands a little bit more to spread it out, but I'm just gonna go in with my spoon first of all. So now I've got a little bit of a base, I'm gonna go in with my hands. I just find that hands are so much easier to get a bit of a thinner base. So we're just gonna push it into the sides, spreading it out along the base, trying to create an even layer as we can. And this is where it gets very messy. And then I'm gonna go back in with my spoon and just spread it out again. This helps to just make it a little bit flatter and more even. And then it's time to work on the sides, and this is definitely where I use my hands. So you're going to grab a blob, like a little bit of a ball, and you're just going to shape it into the sides until you have a bit of a wall. And you want this really to be no more than 1 centimetre thick, and just keep pushing it round. So then I'm just going to try and smooth it all together. Now I've got a bit of a wall going. Just want to make sure that the join as well is completely sealed. Don't be afraid to just grab more cookie dough if you need it. Okay, so I'm happy with that as a bit of a base. I'm going to wash my hands and then we're going to start layering this up. First things first is our Nutella, and I'm almost going to be layering it up like a lasagna, kind of. A spoonful. Again, it's going to get messy. It's just easier to use your hands. And we're just going to spread this round. I've got chocolate over me. I'm literally gonna stack these up. So let's open them all up. Resist eating them as we go. What do we have here? This is our cream egg one. So I'm gonna pop them on all around. Oh, I've already broke one. And we're gonna grab some more Nutella and just work it a little bit around. Obviously, I'm not being that neat with this, as you can tell. I'm not really that bothered about being neat because it's all gonna melt together. So let's go in with the white this time. And then let's do some of the Terry's chocolate orange as well. These have got little mini eggs in as well. That's cute. A little bit more Nutella. Let's do, which one is this? Is this the mini egg one? I think it is, isn't it? Cadbury mini egg. And this is where it gets a little bit harder to start spreading it around and pushing it in because you've just got layer on layer of chocolate now. Got enough for probably one more layer. That's what I'm gonna do. Just use all of the chocolate that we've got left over. I think we're running out of room. So I will stop there. And then we've got our last bit of Nutella to put on the top. The very last little bit is not gonna get us very far, but that's okay. Like I said, it's all gonna melt together. It really doesn't matter what the inside looks like. It doesn't matter what you use to fill it. You could fill this literally just with mini eggs if you want to. You could use different spreads like Biscoff, or Morrison's do a really good white chocolate hazelnut, which tastes exactly like the inside of a Kinder Bueno. So I've used that in a cookie pie before. I'll insert a card so you can watch that video if you want to. So I'm gonna wash my hands again and try and clear up a little bit, and then we will focus on the top. So the first thing I like to do is kind of just fold this edge in a little bit, otherwise you get a really thick corner. So I tend to just go in with my spoon just to drag it down slightly, just like that. And then we go back in with our cookie dough. And then we're gonna press it all down again. Really want to make sure this is completely sealed, otherwise we're gonna have chocolate going everywhere, which isn't a bad thing, but we don't want the chocolate to burn before the cookie is cooked. So it's a good idea to try and seal this if we can. And then again, just go in with the back of the spoon just to spread it out. So now it is time to bake this. It's very heavy. This is gonna take a long time to bake. We are looking for it to go golden brown on top, but still have a slight bit of wobble when you touch it. Obviously be careful when you're touching it, but if you put a cocktail stick in, for example, we want it to come out relatively clean. It's going to take roughly 30 to 40 minutes to bake, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like as soon as it comes out the oven. This has been in the oven for the full 40 minutes. As you can see, it is lovely and golden brown around the outside, but if you give it a little wobble, it still has some movement in the center, and that is what you're looking for. If you get to the half an hour mark and you are feeling like your cookie pie isn't cooking, or it's still looking quite pale on top, you can turn it up to 180 for the last 10 minutes or so, and that should help to just progress it along and cook nicely. Now, some bad news. We've got to let this cool completely, because if we cut into this now, it would be a complete gooey mess. So we're going to leave this on the side to cool initially until it is not as piping hot, so probably for around an hour or so. And then after that, once it started to cool down, we're going to pop it in the fridge for about 4 hours. I know, I'm sorry, you just want to eat it. I get it. Ideally, you want to put this in the fridge overnight, but a minimum of 4 hours. You want it to be completely cold, completely chilled. So I will see you once this is ready to cut into, and then we can do a taste test. It is the next day and our cookie pie is set. It's ready to take out of the tin, it's ready to cut into it, and more importantly, it is ready to eat. So we need to get it out of the tin first, obviously. For a loose bottom base tin like this, you just want to grab something like a glass, a jug, even a vase, pop it on top and just give it a wiggle down. It'll just very easily pop out. We just need to get it from the base. So if you just pop your palette knife in, or just a normal knife, and work your way around, it's on greaseproof paper anyway, so it's going to slide off fairly easily. So that is the tin, and then we can turn it over and take off our greaseproof. And now is the best part, the most important part. We are gonna cut into this. So here goes. Let me grab my palette knife again. Ready? Ta-da! Oh no! Of course I mess it up. Look at that. It is full of Easter chocolate. So we've got all of our Nutella spread in there. We've got the white chocolate in there. We've got our other milk chocolate in there. Now you can decorate the top of this as well if you want to. You could decorate it with buttercream. You could pipe little swirls around the outside and put mini eggs on, for example, if you want to. I kind of like to keep it simple because I like all of the good stuff to be in the center. But if you want to decorate, then go for decorating. Now the best bit, we get to taste test. I kind of just want to grab it and eat it, but that's not very dignified, so I'm going to try and go in with a fork and see how that goes. Here we go. It's obviously very sweet, but actually not as sweet as you'd think it was going to be, unless I've just got a massively sweet tooth, which is true. The textures are really nice as well, so you've obviously got a crisp shell, and then you go down into softer cookie dough. You've got the crunchiness from the mini eggs that sit inside the chocolate as well. A really, really great Easter dessert. Obviously don't have too much though. It's very, very sugary. So that is our Easter cookie pie and how to make it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye!